Hi there everyone, another video from Russ Douglas 222, another entirely 100% honest and independent one. Here I have a pair of budget spotters, day and night vision, and when I say budget, we're talking $90 and I think $130, and they might soon be available on amazon.co.uk as well as amazon.com. I was a bit skeptical, and there are certain drawbacks, limitations of what they're capable of, particularly with the screens, but something a bit different. This video accompanies my article in June 2023, Airgun World magazine, which will be in the shops in 3.5 weeks. Let's show you what they can do. As always, my reviews are 100% independent. DsoonHunt kindly sent me these two binoculars. We've got the NV1180 and the NV5000, the larger, chunkier one. And some people will prefer this because of the larger size, larger buttons, and so on. And as always, when I was approached to review both of these day and night vision binoculars, I said I'd love to review them as long as I'm okay to be 100% honest and independent. And they were fine with that, which is very cool. So thanks to the team at DsoonHunt. So what do you get in the box? With the 1180, it's a very compact unit. It's literally palm-sized, weighs about 200 grams, including a Pinhead 18650 battery. I'll pop the size on the screen. It does come with a little hand lanyard, and also underneath there's a 1/4 inch female thread for a tripod connection, which is very useful if you're zooming in to keep things stable. I'll explain more about that in a second. You've got a front sort of camera aperture, a ridged collar you can adjust the focus on, and on the other side, it's not a binocular lens. The other side is your IR illuminator for nighttime use. And at the rear, you have a slightly soft surround and a rectangular TV screen, basically. The screen on the 1180 is 720 by 320 TFT, full color, and obviously black and white for night use. So it comes with a wrist loop, a wrist lanyard, but also there's a pair of plastic loops here to which you can attach a neck strap, which you may well want to. I'll pop the sizes up on the screen of the larger NV5000 unit. Again, you have a camera lens and a IR night vision illuminator, which is IR 850 nanometers. With the 5000 unit, on the underside here, there's a ridged dial you can turn to focus on your distance objective. And again, there's a rear screen. It's a little bit deceptive, this, because it's a large rear aperture with, again, a slightly flexible surround. And within that is a 2.5 inch 640 by 480. So basically 4:3 ratio screen. One slight drawback is with both the 1180 and the 5000, unless you can focus on a finger in just the front of your nose, you're going to struggle to focus on the screens because of this price range, there's no rear display focus adjustment. So I wear reading glasses, and not only do I have to wear my reading glasses with both of these, but I have to hold them about a foot away from my face while I'm wearing the reading glasses. And there's a drawback with that, which an obvious one, which I'll come to in a second. So stability wise, if you're viewing something wearing either monocular, if you have the neck straps around your neck, as I clearly do, you can hold it away and it helps keep things stable. You're not sort of holding it freehand, if you like. So you can hold it away from yourself with the strap taut, and it keeps the image very stable. And as you can see, I can do the same thing with the larger NV5000 unit. Function-wise, they both have 6 buttons on top. There's a power button for on and off, a mode button to switch between functions. There's a menu button to go through all the various settings, because the little one goes up to 12 megapixels and records in full HD 1080p, and the larger unit records images up to 3 megapixels but also records in full HD. You can adjust that right down to VGA video quality if you prefer. They both take up to 32 gig memory cards in a small rubber covered compartment, and that one on the 5000. I would say waterproofing wise, these are lightweight plastic units, so they're not really for use in wet weather, but if you had a large peak cap, then you'd be able to still use them, but they're not intended for use in the rain. As I mentioned, the 1180 takes a 18650 battery transversely underneath in a little compartment, and the 5000 is a bit heavier, and it's got two battery compartments underneath, left and right. Each one takes 4 AA batteries, and you've got to have one full or both full. You can't have one or two batteries in each. So for this very, very affordable price bracket, what do you get for your money? As I say, there's a ways and means of getting a stable image, especially if you're zooming. Oh, and the zoom is digital only, up to 4 times via the plus and the minus button on either monocular. If you hold down the plus button, it will slowly zoom in ×2, ×3, ×4, and then the minus button, hold it down to slowly zoom back out, back to 1. If you just press a short press of the plus, that puts you into night vision mode, which is basically into black and white. And then subsequent short presses of either monocular ups the infrared strength from level 1 right up to level 7. And to my pleasant surprise, there really are 7 separate levels of IR available, and it's very, very capable. Both of these units were able to flood the inside of a 40 meter by 20 meter barn with IR light. I was able to scan around. I was able to see rats eye shine at 40 meters on both units. Got some footage to show you. So they are perfectly capable. If you're on a budget and the rats in your pest control permissions are a bit lamp shy, then as long as they're not so lamp shy that the faint red glow from the IR illuminator would put them off, then either of these units is brilliant. The other night, I went along to one of my permissions, not expecting there to be any rats. I shouldered my Emax Arms crate, which still has the Hype Micro Stella SH50, excellent thermal scope, still has that on board. Scanned around the barn and instantly saw 24 rats. I was a bit flabbergasted because I wasn't expecting there to be any, because it is getting a little bit milder at the moment. I thought they'd all be away into the fields, but there were still some piles of knee-deep grain in this barn. So I had to put these two fellas away, shoot a bunch of rats. The rat activity died down. I got both of these out and was able to scan around, and with both monoculars, as you'll see, scanning around, I could see the various dead rats I'd already shot, and then with each monocular in the same corner, I spotted a live one. So they did the job perfectly as spotters. I then re-shouldered the rifle and shot the rat, put that down, got the second monocular up, scanned around back and forth, scanning the ceiling, and over in the right hand corner saw a different rat, which unfortunately scarpered before I shouldered the rifle. But both of these are perfectly capable, I can attest to this, perfectly capable by night of illuminating your prey out to at least 40 meters. That's just the length of the barn, so that was my limit. And it was misty and foggy outside that night, so it wouldn't have been any good to use these in the open fields. Both perfectly capable of spotting and recording live pests on video, and I'll bring you the video. I first took the NV5000 along to one of my usual scope review spots, and there we can see on the horizon the 5 wind turbines, 9 miles, 15 kilometers away. So I practiced zooming in here, and it's not the highest res of image. Zooming into 4 times digital zoom and then back out again. And that telegraph pole, as you know from previous videos, is 130 meters away. And then scan over to the left, and those trees are about 360 meters away. And over to the barn, and then into the foreground. So refocused slightly, and then up onto the nearby shed roof, which I think is about 20-25 meters away. Then onto the nearest tyre, a little bit of refocusing here, and then scan right, a bit of green grass, and I know this fence post was about 30-35 meters away from previous testing, and then into the distance, and that dry stone dike there, as they call it in these parts, is about 90-91 meters away. Do another little zoom test here, and obviously it's a relatively low res image, so once zoomed in, it's a little bit on the grainy side, to be expected. Well after dark now, in the barn where I've been shooting rats through winter. You can see that the image is pretty well floodlit. Out that far wall is 40 meters away, and the barn is about 20 meters wide. So I scan around. You see some dead rats on the left side there I've shot during this session. Scan the roof trusses. And back down to the corner, and oh, there's a rat looking right at me. Definite eye shine at 40 meters there in the far right corner, and you can see it moving around. Obviously, I hastily stopped recording and shot that one. Onto the Huntmax NV 1180 now, and you can see this image is a fair bit washed out. So the exposure just wasn't right, and couldn't quite cope with the sunlight, which wasn't that direct, but no chance of focusing on the turbines 15 kilometers away. So I centered on the 130 meter telegraph pole, then scanned to the left, the same woods as earlier, then over to the distant barn, and then into the foreground. First on the left to the top of the nearby shed, 20-25 meters away again, then back to my immediate foreground on these tyres. Then over to the right on that pole at 30-35 meters, bit of a focus adjustment. And then further right, the 91 meter moss covered dry stone dike. And then a few seconds watching passing car just to show the smoothness of the image. Then the 1180's turn after dark. Again, a very clear image, out to 40 meters, almost like black and white daylight. And nothing in the far right corner. Had a look to my right, closer up, and was able to focus down to just a couple of meters in the darkness. Quick scan of the far side, a few dead rats, eye shine in the far left corner from one of the dead rats. Scan left to right, and oh, and there's another rat, but this one got away. So, what are the pros and cons? Pros, obviously, very affordable, very lightweight, pretty simple operation. When you use either unit, both the functions are the same. The only thing is that the array, there's 3 rows of 2 buttons on the NV5000, and there's 4 buttons around a central one with another one off to the side here for still images or starting and stopping recording. So the buttons are the same, just the layout of the buttons is slightly different. And if you look in the video description down below, you'll find links to flickr albums, photo albums with loads of photos of each spotter. There's loads more information for you there, and there are links to where you can find these too on Amazon.com. Pleasant change to review something very, very affordable. Thermal spotters are awesome, but they're not that affordable for people starting out in the world of night vision. These are very, very affordable. Bit more basic functionality-wise, but they really do the job. They really did spot the eye shine of rats out to 40 meters. The only other downside is, as I say, with the focus, because you have to hold them a foot away from your face, even if you're wearing glasses, then, as you can imagine, got my glasses on to look at the display, and the light of the display is reflecting off the glass lenses down to the rats. So if your prey is very light sensitive, they might well sort of spot you and freak out a little bit. For longer range steady use, definitely I would attach neck straps as I have here, just to give you that extra added stability. The only other, one other foible, you get 32 gig micro SD cards with each, and one of the 2 SD cards that didn't work. Basically I popped it in, and rather than showing, oh, you've got capacity for 10,000 photos or 16 hours of video or whatever, it just said 00. So that had to bin that micro SD card and use a 32 gig card I had myself. And the other thing is the NV5000, I believe if you'll see yourself on the video, the image when recorded was slightly stretched, kind of from 4:3 ratio back to 16:9 ratio. But then again, PARD 88s do that as well, so it's nothing new. I've flagged this video as includes paid sponsorship, simply because there are British Shoot and Show adverts on it at the start and end. But my review of these is entirely impartial, no money changed hands. Dsoon kindly said you can keep them when you've reviewed them. I've not really got a use for these. because I'm using a Hike Micro Griffin GH35L thermal spotter for my own pest control most of the time. So if anyone starts offering me any Patreon sponsorship, which nobody's taken me up on that yet, there's a link in my YouTube channel, then I could maybe donate a few of these units to anyone who'd like to give them a try. So entirely impartial, entirely honest. As you've heard, there are pros and cons of both units. Both really do work for budget night vision for pest control spotting. Thanks very much again to DsoonHunt. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you've all started contemplating dates in your diaries for next year's British Shooting Show in 16th, 17th and 18th of February 2024. Hope to see you all there, and I'll try and make it for all 3 days next year. Thanks for watching. Hope this is interesting, and my full review in Airgun World's June issue will be in the shops in about 3.5 weeks. Okay, thanks very much. Take care. Enjoy your shooting.